2008 წელს საქართველო ამის ეპიცენტრში იყო. ხუმბარებთან ერთად რუსეთი მას დეზინფორმაციის ბომბებსაც უშენდა.
Американская бактериологическая лаборатория в Грузии.
Насколько же все-таки мощной является пропагандистская машина так называемого Запада.
Когда нельзя, но очень хочется.
Настоящую информационную бомбу взорвал во вторник экс-министр госбезопасности Грузии Игорь Георгадзе.
Провела черту между тем, что было на самом деле, и тем, о чем нам говорили с экранов западных СМИ.
თუმცა დღეს საქართველომ ამ საინფორმაციო ომის პერიფერიაზე გადაინაცვლა. ეპიცენტრში კი მთელი დასავლეთი აღმოჩნდა. ამერიკის შეერთებული შტატები, დიდი ბრიტანეთი, გერმანია.
I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails.
Operation to remove 270 fake accounts and pages, part of their broader network in Russia, that was primarily targeting spreading misinformation in Russia itself, as well as certain Russian-speaking neighboring countries.
I think we began to see this with the cyber attack on Estonia in 2007, followed by the Russia-Georgia war in 2008. We had a kind of a brief pause, and then we had Ukraine. And then we had the all-out assault on Western institutions that's going on right now.
Sort of lays the groundwork for a future Russian intervention, military intervention.
So after the nationalist coup in Kiev, the first act of the so-called revolutionary parliament was to repeal a law giving language rights to Russian speakers. Since the vast majority of southeast Ukraine is Russian-speaking, they came out to protest this.
This doesn't mean that just because Russia uses hybrid tactics somewhere that an invasion will follow, but certainly if they use hybrid tactics for a number of years, it softens the target, so when they do decide to act militarily, they're better prepared to do so.
It's been 1 year since Russian planes first hit targets in Syria.
Russia, the military intelligence service, GRU, tried to perpetrate a coup d'etat in Montenegro.
Montenegro arrested around 20 people after the alleged plot was foiled in October.
And most Americans, most of the international public is still unaware of this very brazen attack on a democracy, physical attack.
Goal is to simply cause division and friction inside society and inside a country's political process. They do this so that the decision-making institutions are weakened, that the public is more skeptical about the governing institutions.
And all of Russian disinformation is actually grounded in usually not even just a kernel of truth.
Это вранье, это наглая ложь, это все называется одним словом дезинформация. Цель понятно, дестабилизация ситуации в Грузии.
It's grounded in real feelings and real emotions and fears that our societies have.
Why? Because President Putin, especially when he came back to the Kremlin in 2012, but also earlier, very much feared the impact of Western norms of democracy in terms of his ability to rule in Russia as an authoritarian kleptocratic leader.
Поскольку борьба за власть в мире всегда сопровождалась такими схватками. Выйдет ли она в конечном счете в военную сферу, вы знаете, должен огорчить, может выйти.
The appeal of the Euro-Atlantic community is much stronger than the appeal of the Eurasian Economic Union.
Russia's end goal is to preserve Sistema in the former Soviet space and expand Sistema as deep into the West as is possible.
Only with the 2016 presidential election has the American public understood the scope of what, or begun to understand the scope of what Russia is doing in these countries.
The methods are similar, but the topics that cause negative emotions in that given society differ. So, for example, in the Czech Republic, a lot of disinformation campaigns are about migration.
When workers signed up to help at a migrant center near Brussels, they knew the challenges they could face.
So there was this very popular case of this girl Lisa.
A teenager identified by media as Liza went missing. Her parents told investigators she was taken to a flat where the foreign men raped and beat her. Russian media outlets have accused officials of attempting to bury the accusations. German police rejected the teenager's account.
When you watch RT Deutsch and when you read Sputnik News, you can see a lot of cases of Lisa.
I would say Russia has had some victories, certainly, but I think in the long run, this attack on Western democracies is going to be devastating for Russia's future.
Now, I grew up in the 1970s when we believed the Soviet Union was winning the Cold War, right? The West was in this deep funk. We thought we were losing. We thought our system was failing. In the aftermath of Watergate and Vietnam and the terrorist attacks from anarchist groups in Europe were going on, we thought the Western world was coming apart. And, by the 1980s, we learned that this was not the case.
Russia will intervene for sure in the 2020 US election. I think they will have a marginal impact at best. This is the biggest strategic failure of the West, is to understand that by not more actively supporting countries like Ukraine, Georgia, and Moldova, the three you just mentioned, that we are giving Russia the opportunity to make advances and progress in terms of their agenda of influencing their periphery and rolling back democratic gains in these countries. And if we don't understand that this is a sort of a civilizational battle, by civilizational, I mean a struggle between liberal democracy on the one hand and corrupt oligarchy on the other. If we don't get actively involved in this fight, then we've made a huge mistake and we've ceded a lot of ground.